want to introduce you to our community director because this show is going to be about our community, both the things that we're working on, but also on a personal level, some of the folks in the community. So Cara Eastman is our community director. She's amazing. She was a Just Democrat and ran in Nebraska and would have won for that US congressional seat for a corporate Democrat betraying her and doing ads for the Republicans. Anyways, Cara is wonderful and she joins us now.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing.
Okay, so Cara, you've been here now almost 2 years, which is shocking. This is a funny question to ask, but how do you feel about being the community director here at TYT?
Wow, that is a funny question to ask. I always say this to people that the TYT community is so unique, and that I really can't think of another news network that has a relationship with their community and where the community members have such a tight relationship. And what we're talking about tonight is such a good example of that, but it's just an incredible place. And it's interesting where like politics has brought people to this, but it's deeper than that, where people reach out for so many different things, wanting to help each other and wanting to fix the country. And it's just a really remarkable thing. And I'm like always just very, very grateful that I get to do this.
Yeah, and so look, we're super lucky because we get to build something now where we build it in a way that we think will be helpful, will be something positive in the world, right? Before you couldn't build a media company and you couldn't, get people together effectively enough in a community like this. But we decided to build a community around people who are open-minded and open-hearted. So we want you to do good in the world, and we're trying to do some good in the world. And everybody's got a different definition of that, and that's where the open-minded comes in. And so, and some, throughout the years, throughout the 23 years we've been around, 20 years online and 23 overall, a lot of folks have opted out and said, no, I don't want an open mind. Or some have thought, what you consider open-hearted, maybe I don't, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. And there's different communities for them. And so God bless, right? But I love the one here. And I'm super proud of you guys. And I love how open-minded you are, and I love how open-hearted you are, and how you try to make a difference every day. And Cara and I started Operation Hope, and that's where the community gets together and tries to make a difference. And this show, The Revolution, came out of Operation Hope, and Operation Hope is you guys, the community of TYT, getting together and trying, living by that credo that we came up with a while back, get caught trying. Right, and so we live by that, and I live by that, and I love that you guys do too. So now, with that being said, we have some sad news today. So one of our moderators here at TYT is Zane. He was known as the Magic Puffer Dragon, and he's a wonderful guy. We're going to tell you a little bit about him now. And I had just gone to see Brave New Film's movie with him a couple of months ago about Gaza, and he sat right next to me, and we talked about it before, after, and he's been a moderator here for a long time, and hence, as a moderator, you're to some degree a leader in the community, and so a lot of folks love Zane, and he was young, and so this is absolutely tragic, and we wanted to take a moment to honor him. So. He's a longtime YouTube moderator. The community absolutely loved him. In fact, they helped him through a tough divorce. And when you guys stick together like that, oh my God, I love that so much. I mean, you want to talk about open-hearted, that's exactly how you do it. And he gave so much of his time, care, and heart to our community. And this is so tragic. He's got 5 children, and his parents, Dorothy and Bob, and everyone who loved him. And look, I just want to say to his kids, if you watch this one day, your dad was a good man. And so you should be really proud of him. And he looked to help others whenever he got an opportunity. So it's heartbreaking when someone is taken too young. So he did have challenges in his life, but he found real connection and support here, which again, I'm so proud of you guys. He spoke often about how much his community helped him, especially through difficult times. And every time you guys showed up with kindness and generosity and care in ways that I think truly made a difference in his life, and he would say so when he was with us. And I read comments of his where he thanked all of you guys, and he was deeply grateful for it. And he was kind, he was funny, he was deeply caring, and I think that it made a difference. It made a difference in our lives, and and I'll say to the kids one more time: look, your father was loved and respected and appreciated, and that's a hell of a thing. Right? And so I hope you guys are all right. We love you. And overall, I would say the same thing to them that I would say for all of us, which is that we're grateful that he was in our lives. So now he used to say every once in a while as a moderator that we should have a moment of silence for a smock break. Okay, smock break, a lot of you guys know what that is, right? And that was fun. So you know what? Let's just take a moment of silence here for a second. All right, we love you, brother. Be well wherever you are. All right, Cara.
I also wanted to just give a shout out to Allison, who also works at TYT, who works with the moderators, and she was the one who coordinated getting in touch with his mom, Dorothy. I think it's really interesting that Dorothy, like one of the first things she wanted to do was to get into his accounts to let everybody at TYT know, because she knew how much this community meant to him and how much TYT meant to him. That's kind of an amazing thing. So we're really grateful to her. But I also was going through the Discord that we have, our Discord server, and people were leaving these lovely messages, and we have them here. So, Hank, are you going to read them?
Yeah, so let's do this. Let's alternate. I'll read one, you read one, okay?
Right.
And yeah, and Allison, thank you for organizing all the moderators and these wonderful folks who've been a great part of our lives. And by the way, guys, we're not sure why he passed away. He passed away in the night. And so if we knew, we'd tell you, but we don't know. All right, let me go to Dana. Dana said, Zayn was a truly amazing person with a huge heart for others. He was not just a fellow moderator, but also a friend whom I loved dearly and always enjoyed hanging out with on game nights or watching Dr. Floyd and other movies/shows. He always made me smile and truly loved everyone in this community. He will be greatly missed. So guys, I mean, when I see that from Dana, I just think like there's so many of you that I've run into and shared a piece of my life with. And Dana worked on my presidential campaign. Cara was the campaign manager of that as well. And so Dana, thank you for writing that in. We appreciate it. And I'm sure your sentiment is shared by so many. In fact, Cara has the next comment.
Sure, this is from Bruce City Mike. After chatting with Zane for a couple of years in the members chat, I got close with him over the last year or so when we were able to bond over some shared personal situations. I really grew to like him. We just spent New Year's Eve together watching a movie and hanging out in a chat all night, having a great time. You'll be greatly missed by this community, my dude, RIP.
Leftist Red Panda wrote in, I was just informed, this hurts my soul quite a bit. He and I had some lovely and lively conversations. He was so stoked about his new apartment. I feel for his little troop of kiddos so damn much right now, especially with what was going on in his personal life these last months. I need to sit with myself to grieve the loss of a good friend and the all-around chill human that I was lucky to get to know. I will miss your presence immensely, Zayn. May you rest well and your loved ones find peace. It's a good way of putting it. All of our souls heart a little tonight. Cara.
This is from Naughtiest Maximus, which is my new favorite name. I'm very saddened to hear this news. My heart goes out to his kids and family. I know Zayn mostly from TYT game nights, where he has long had a presence that will be deeply missed. I was just getting to know Zayn more on a personal level in some recent late night conversations with him and Brew after recent games. I learned about his struggles with chronic physical pain after a debilitating work injury years ago, and some of the other struggles he was going through in his personal life. But I was also just getting to know more about what a loving and devoted father he was to his kids, and how he constantly met the struggles and challenges life had given him in a way that reflected his unwavering progressive values of empathy, concern for others, and the importance of community for good causes and caring people. I wish for peace for Zayn and his family. We will miss you, Zayn.
Manuel E2EN4W wrote in, I remember his kindness towards other community members. Some here have written things way better than I even could. His kindness towards everyone in chat who wasn't an a-hole. He was even kind toward trolls. In this regard, he was the best mod I have met. He kindly greeted others while modding.
And this is from Dots Plots. Now I have to be good on my own. Who is going to keep me in line? Keep me happy and positive during hard times. A good friend is a great loss. Such great friends are made here.
I want to make a comment about that in a sec, but last one, Janet. Zayn was a very good friend of mine for years. We talked nearly every day. He was always there with support, comfort, or advice when I needed it, like he did with so many of his friends. He was a beautiful soul with a huge heart, and I'm so heartbroken. Rest in peace, Zany. So guys, the other day we talked about this on Operation Joy. Somebody wrote in, they're a nurse who takes care of folks who are about to pass away. And it's a tough job, and she asked for, advice on how to deal with all that grief, because she gets to know them and then they pass away. She gets to know them and care for them and they pass away. And I'm reminded of that today. And what I thought is, if somebody passes away and it deeply hurts you, what that means is they made a positive contribution to your life. That's why you're hurt, right? And they added to your life. And so I take that as, flip it on its head. And a lot of us do this anyway, right? That means that you should be so appreciative that he was in your life at all, right? So we look at it as a tragedy, which of course it is when he passes away, and we don't have him anymore, right? But what that means is we got so much out of his life, and he added so much to our lives. So this is not just a moment for mourning, but it's a moment for deep appreciation that our paths crossed. So Zayn, if you're out there somewhere, look at all this love you got, brother, and you earned it. Okay. Kara, let's talk just a little bit more about the community before we get back to what we're trying to do together to make a difference, right? So, I sometimes I forget that this is different, because this was my intent all along. I mean, I want to build an enormous community of good-hearted and open-minded people. And it didn't occur to me that, I mean, this is a hilarious thing to say, but I just never thought about it that way. Like, it didn't occur to me that CNN is not building a community, right? And that they view themselves as like a business that does news, etc., and has nothing to do with their viewers. I don't view it that way. I feel like we're all learning together, and we're all working together, and one person or one show or even one network by itself is nothing, right? It will never have enough power and force and enough people to back them up to do something different and amazing and positive in the world. So I kind of always assumed that we should build a community, and I feel like the internet has given us an opportunity to do that. I don't think we could do this on TV, and I'm grateful for it. And I'll tell you this too, Kara. Like, so have we had ups and downs with the community as well? Of course, and we've had folks who disagreed with us and left, some left angry, etc. But I look at it as, well, we're trying something, and we're oftentimes trying something different. And so, yeah, it's not gonna be for everyone. But at least we're trying, right? At least we're trying to make a positive difference. So even if people think, oh no, I don't think that's positive, or I don't think that's the right direction, at least we're trying to build a community. And I, I'm telling you this because I'm so in it that it's sometimes hard for me to see it straight, to see it right. But yeah, I don't think we can win without the community, and I think the community is the winning, right? Like just being able to form those bonds with other good people. If we stop the show today, the fact that we created that and all those people shared those wonderful memories and those moments, and let alone the moments where we triumphed, right? The other day we did a show about like some of the best memories because it was our 20th year anniversary on YouTube. And one of them was when Cara won the primary in 2016, and John and I went nuts on air. And you guys out there, you partly made that happen with Justice Democrats and Cara and obviously AOC and so many others. And because you did it because you believed, and you were right to believe. So I want, in my ideal world, we keep believing, we keep working together, we keep building this community. And it's kind of it's a really weird way of putting it, but kind of an FU to the skeptics and the cynics who are always like, no, it can't be done. It can't be done. And you can't be the one to do it. Well, I think you can be the ones to do it. I think it can be done, and I think it's gonna be done by you guys. And I know that none of us here at TYT can do it without you, because then there's nothing to back us up. So for the great privilege of allowing me to be one of the voices of this community, I can't thank you enough. So Cara, you already kind of said that it's different, but yeah, but like I said, I lose track of how different it is.
Right. Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm a social worker by trade. I worked in nonprofit for most of my career, and I've been a community organizer. And so organizing this community, or at least trying to, is an honor, because we get to, there's so many different projects and so many different ideas, but we're all rallied around this idea that we can change the country for the better. And I think one of the things that is missing from maybe some of the other networks is like that idea that like we can change things because we understand our community, right? Like when you actually interact with people who watch TYT on a daily basis, there's so many different opinions and views, and people get pissed, and that's fine. But the policies that we're trying to get passed in this country directly impact the majority of people who watch TYT. That's quite different than other people who are kind of doing things in a vacuum. I remember recently I was watching MSNBC, and Joe and Mika said like, oh, I wish we could talk to our community. I wish we understood our audience. I wish we could ask them stuff. Well, we do that here all the time. And so it gives us this really unique insight into people, and therefore allows you to move forward and develop something bigger and bigger and get people truth and transparency and honesty, which is what we're all craving. But we're just sick of not getting that anywhere else. And so this truly is a remarkable community that you built.
That we've all built. So Cara, now let's talk about what we're trying to do with the community through this show revolution that started with the genesis of Operation Hope. So can you tell us some of the projects we're working on?
Yeah, also, I mean, even the genesis of this has been really interesting, right? So through Operation Hope, which now we've been doing for a couple of years, a few of the members have said like, oh, we should have a show. We should get people on. We should interview candidates. We should have forums. We should have debates. And now we have that, which is a remarkable thing. So right now, through the Revolution and Operation Hope, we have a lot of amazing projects, and two of them are websites that, I think through the community and Cenk, through your brain, the idea to create something where we would track contributions coming to politicians and then the bills that they pass in relationship to those contributions. So corruptionwatch.us is in the works. Arvin and others are working so hard on this thing. I mean, it's actually really hard to do, and they keep making progress and keep providing updates. They're not like the most exciting updates to the layperson, and half the time I don't even know what they're talking about, but I know they're making progress, and that eventually we'll have this incredible website that we could do a lot with. So that's really exciting. The other one is,
hold on, Cara. Let me just say one thing about that, guys. We had this crazy idea. Why don't we take the donor money that politicians get and see if we can connect it to their votes? So that's what those folks are working on in corruptionwatch.us. By the way, we did a poll for you guys to name the site, and you guys picked that name, and I love how participatory that is. In fact, when I ran for president, I did a poll for you guys and saying, should I run or should I not run? So I think it was like 81 or 83%. Not all of you, over 80% said, yeah, go for it. So I did, God help us. But we know we had a tiny bit of an impact. We thought Biden was not the right candidate, and you guys were right about that. You were right when almost all of media wasn't, and a lot of other Democrats weren't. So I love that you pushed me into it. Or asked me to do it in your own way, right? So, anyways, wonderful things that we can create. If that site comes to fruition and you could track, my guess is what you're gonna find is that 98% of the time, the person who takes the donor money votes in the way that the donors want. If we can prove that, oh my God, that would be a huge gift to the whole country as kind of definitive evidence. That's why we were talking about crowdsourcing the revolution. I can't build that site, but you guys combined can. By the way, Cara, before we go on to the next project, if people want to help, how can they help?
Yeah, and we've had a lot of people reach out saying that they do want to help to build that site. Zane was even one of those people, which is amazing. And so you can email hope@tyt.com or go on the tyt.com discussion board on the Operation Hope page. So it's tyt.com/hope, and plug in right there. And there's a lot of people working on this. Some of these people are working like more than you would ever imagine to get this thing off the ground.
All right, and what's the other project that you were gonna mention?
So the other website that we were building is Kids of Palestine. That was a repository of photographs of children who have either been killed or in captivity, and that project is still going. We're finding partners who are working in the communities to be able to populate the site, but that's still a project that's underway. And I've been talking with some of the volunteers working on that who are also excited about that as a way to show people what's actually happening around the world, and maybe get some eyes on that so that people understand the impact that our funding of this war is having.
Yeah, two quick things about that. Look, my thought was statistics aren't moving people, but if they see the kids who are actually being killed, that might affect folks, and it has through social media in so many ways. But I would like to build like almost a tribute to those folks and show the kids so that you could see them and you could see a little bio of them and their pictures. And so we started to build that, and there's a bunch of kids on there already. But then we realized, hey, maybe we should put some kids who have not passed away. And one of the first people we added in that category, if not the first, was Mohammed Ibrahim. He was a 16-year-old that was being kept in an Israeli prison. And then you guys joined in on a campaign to get him released. And we did it. In Thanksgiving, the Israelis released Mohammed Ibrahim, and that American kid is now safe, partly because of your great work. That's amazing, and you should feel super proud about that.
Absolutely. The other projects that we've got include, so the populist plank was an idea generated by the community and you and others at TYT to create these set of policies that have universal appeal in the country. And so if you go on populistplank.com, you can see those policies. But I have volunteers every day that are working to get candidates and elected officials to endorse the populist plank, to promote it. We've had candidates reach out saying they want to run on the populist plank, which is unbelievable, to be able to have that kind of an impact, to form policy positions for candidates, which often a lot of candidates don't have any policy positions. So that one's pretty awesome, and the community has really rallied around this. So that's very exciting.
Okay, I want to say one thing to conclude, but we also have the pledge on AIPAC, right?
Yep. So and we're building out a new site to help promote that as well, but basically saying that you will not support candidates who take AIPAC money, and we're asking candidates to refuse it in the future. So that's also a project that's been underway.
Yeah, it's not too much to ask our politicians to represent us. They're supposed to be our representatives. It's, it doesn't matter if it's Israel or any other country. That's not the issue. The issue is our representatives should not take money from foreign governments or corporations. So I'm proud that we were the first to institute the rule at Justice Democrats that no corporate PAC money is allowed, and now that movement is growing and growing and growing. And speaking of pride, so like if you worked on the Mohammed Ibrahim campaign at all, you did anything at all, right? You sent an email, you did a tweet, whatever you did, right? It doesn't matter how small. You should go to sleep at night thinking, I did it. I did something to help, and it was part of what worked and actually got him released and changed his life and his parents' lives, etc. You should feel super proud of that. And I get this from time to time where people will say, I didn't know about AOC, but then I found out through Young Turks, and then I volunteered for her. Or I gave money to Jamal Bowman when he first ran, and I hadn't heard about him before, etc. And when they won, I felt like I did that. And you did do that. They couldn't have won without you. That's another thing you should feel incredibly proud about. And then we have a 17-year-old in Operation Hope who was a Mamdani volunteer from really early on. And then he came on to tell us about it on one of the Operation Hope town halls. And he said, yeah, of course I feel pride, right? Like, I can't believe we did it. So part of the reason I tell you that is the next time you join a campaign, and it might be a campaign that doesn't work, that happens all the time too, right? But you know what? You should still be proud for the fact that at least you're trying, where a lot of people sit at home and they doom scroll, but they don't do anything, or maybe they go to one protest, etc. But you guys are taking concrete steps and actions, right? And so, but especially on something that wins. And imagine that we go through all these different steps and we do it, we get money out of politics. You have any idea how good you're gonna feel? So for your own sake, let alone the country's sake, let alone for all of our sake, take a step. It doesn't have to be a big step at all. It could be the smallest step in the world. But as long as you take a step in the right direction and you get involved and you try to make a difference and you try to make this world a little bit better, then I think you're gonna feel great when we finally get there. And whether it's a small thing or the biggest thing in the world. All right, Kara, any parting thoughts for tonight?
We've got a lot of stuff coming up. We've got candidate forums. We have one tomorrow night with 4 candidates running in Illinois. That's going to be moderated conversation with Cenk and Marie Newman, a former member of Congress here. Really excited about that. We have live town halls scheduled for people, debates that we want to host, and other special projects that people are working on. So if you have ideas, you want to join, just go to tyt.com/ideas or email hope@tyt.com and come and join us, because it's a great community.
Yep. All right, Zane, we love you, brother. And you see it right here in all the comments and all the love. All right, everybody hang in there and stand up for each other. I love when you do that. It makes all the difference in the world. Love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow.